get some ideas for Gulfstream for this afternoon, and a little bit after that, live on the set, our friend Dick Powell will join us to talk some Presque Isle Downs for this Thursday evening. But as we kick off our Thursday edition of the show, and as we are kicking off essentially our Saratoga 2016 season, she's back. Teresa Genaro helps us grab some of our guests here on Racing Across America, also stops in, updates us on some of the calendar events and whatnot, as well as Blood Horse, the Brooklyn Backstretch blog, your main spot, Forbes.com,
Saratoga Special a little bit.
Saratoga Special. So people can find you all over the place. Any main places they can find you during the meet?
Just go to brooklynbackstretch.com and it'll point you to everywhere I'm at. Yeah.
And also, we're going to talk some of the calendar events for the upcoming week. But you can find the calendar. You update your calendar weekly as well. When people go to Brooklyn Backstretch, they can find all the events. But we'll be plugging in regularly to update on some of the major events. So how long you been in town?
48 hours.
And raring to go?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Loving this weather. Not so psyched about the weekend, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, and I was telling you before we went on the air, last Wednesday and Thursday, it was like a sauna. Back here. The last few days have been very nice. We had, I sat in here one morning with pouring rain. The next morning I came out and it was a little chilly. So last week kind of experienced the entire season in 4 days, but that's what it's like up at Saratoga.
Right.
And I was out downtown last night, just kind of walked up and down Broadway. Have you been in town, taking in any of the, up and down Broadway? And I just mentioned it because it's already packed.
I had to drive through town yesterday to get south of the city, and I couldn't believe how long it took me and how much I was sitting. I leave New York City because I don't want to sit in traffic all summer, and it's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know who these people are, and I don't know if they're here for racing or for something else, but town is packed.
Well, and yesterday on the show, we had Jeremy Plank on the show, and he and the family come up for like the week before racing. Take advantage of Saratoga, the calm and quiet of Saratoga. I think there's probably a lot of people like that. It's a great place to visit. Certainly it's a great place to do television as the horses continue to work out behind us. Racing kicks off tomorrow, and that means there's a week of events coming up. We'll hit on some of the major ones right now. Again, you can find the entire calendar at Teresa's Brooklyn Backstretch blog. Type into Google Brooklyn Backstretch and boom, you'll get right there. But let's hit on some of them. One we want to bring up because it's a day before the racing season, but that does not stop Andy Serling. Kicks off his radio show, his weekly radio show from the Parting Glass tonight. Yep,
8 to 9. It airs on local ESPN radio. You can also stream it, and it's free and open to the public. You can go down. He usually gets a pretty packed house, has a stellar lineup. Tonight, he's got owner Sal Kuman, who owns Lady Eli, Exaggerator, and last year's Breeders' Cup winner, Wavell Avenue. So he'll be on. Christophe Clement, jockey Julien Leparoux, who piloted Tepin to victory abroad last month, and newest member of the NYRA Racing Analyst Team, Gabby Gaudet, who's coming up from Maryland to spend the summer here. So 4 great guests down at the Parting Glass. Always a fun place to be.
Yeah, and I make it down for 4 or 5 of them during the season. It's at the Parting Glass. Again, it's free and open to the public. I usually go down on a Thursday, save dinner for that, sit down at the table, have a little dinner, listen to the radio show. It's a nice way to kick off a Thursday night, kick off, or maybe end. For me, it was kick off. Maybe some people, it's the time of day where they have dinner and then go home. But either end of the evening, it's a great spot to swing by. Also coming up this weekend, as is traditional with opening weekend, it's titled Hats Off Weekend. There are some events tied into that. One of them up and down Broadway, Friday and Saturday night.
Yeah, Friday and Saturday night. It's really nice. They have bands up and down on some of the side streets. A lot of the shops stay open. Just kind of a fun time. People seem to really enjoy getting down there, have a little ice cream, then begin the rest of your nightlife when it's over, and enjoy it's a nice showcase for local musicians as well.
Or end your night and go home, as they say. For some people, it's one way or the other.
Right.
For me, it's usually the start of things, but it's a lot of fun. And again, you alluded to the warm weather coming up the weekend, which means warm nights. So by the night, it'll be great for the Hats Off music up and down Broadway. And again, it's a lot of fun. You saw some pictures I took there. I don't know, it was last year or a couple of years ago, but a lot of fun. Get a big crowd, and it's always a good event to kick off the racing season. Tying in again to Hats Off weekend coming up on Saturday, the first giveaway item.
It's a Monday, right? Sunday?
I've got Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
right, Sunday. My mistake there. Yeah, it's the baseball cap. Presented by the Saratoga Casino and Hotel, formerly known as Saratoga Raceway. Nice looking hat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hats are always a nice item, and you see people. It's fun to be out of town and get those giveaway items. And you and I were both down in Florida Derby weekend, and you can walk by people and hey, you recognize them from the giveaway items.
And there's a cool thing this year. I mean, sometimes people complain because they would run out of the giveaway item. If you're a NYRA season pass perk holder or a season ticket holder, you are guaranteed getting one of the giveaway items. You've got a couple of protocols you have to follow. You've got to go in through a certain designated gate at both Union Avenue and Wright Street, and you've got to pick it up by 3 o'clock. But if you are an NYRA Perks member or you're a season ticket holder, you are guaranteed your giveaway if you do those two things. And that's new this year, and it is indeed a perk.
Yeah, and I said, and they started it a few years ago, I always said what they needed up here was kind of a customer loyalty program where folks get a little off on admission and get those kind of things. And they started a few years ago, it's a couple of years now with the season pass, which I think plays right into that, and this also plays into that. And I think, it's good for business to reward loyal customers.
And it gets you discounts not only on track on a weekly basis, but it also gets you discounts at downtown Saratoga. I think they recently announced something with Live Nation, so this is something. It's local ski resorts. So there's a lot of different ways that you can benefit if you enroll in their rewards program.
Local ski resorts, so you can use your Saratoga pass in January?
Chris Kay was talking about it this morning at the Chamber of Commerce meeting. Apparently, I don't know. They're open till March, and there's ways you can use it. I didn't catch all the details of it, but yes, they are partnering with ski resorts.
All right, and also finally, wrapping up the hat theme on the weekend on Hats Off opening weekend. The annual hat contest comes up on Sunday. It's always a lot of fun. It happens out on the apron in front of the racetrack, and you get to see some wacky hats and some fashionable hats, kids' hats. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, there are 3 different categories. That's fashionably Saratoga, uniquely Saratoga, and creative kids. Registration begins at noon in the grandstand, and then the little parade takes place after the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th races. And the prizes are provided by Hatsational Downtown, which is owned by a local Saratoga woman as well.
Yeah,
so if you're into hats, this is your weekend.
Again, it's a lot of fun, and you will see some absolutely unique hats. All right, Saratoga, you and I talk about a lot during the season, and we have guests in talking about, because tied in with Saratoga, the social scene, and a lot of it has to do with charities as well. And we kind of kick things off fairly early as far as charities and a good cause for the Hay, Oats, and Spaghetti Dinner coming up on Monday night.
Which benefits the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation. In the news recently because they're one of the organizations that stepped up to take care of some of the horses that were neglected down in Kentucky. 6 of the horses in worse shape went to a TRF farm near Lexington. And this event has grown. This is the 3rd year of it. It's huge. It's a $75 ticket, $85 at the door. It's an Italian buffet. It's beer. There's wine. Michael Veach will be there signing copies of some of his books. And this is down at Bravo, which is down on Route 9 South, just a little bit south of Saratoga. Last year, they designated 1 room to this event, and this year they have given over the entire restaurant, which is an incredibly generous thing to do, especially during the racing meet. So it's a good cause. The food was delicious. I went last year. The place was packed. So a nice way to kick off a summer of philanthropy here at Saratoga.
Yeah, no question about it. And if you type in, again, Hay, Oats, and Spaghetti in Google, you'll come up with more information there and how you can make your reservation or stop by and pay on the spot as well. Again, that's coming up on Monday night. Let's go back now and hit on a couple I didn't mention, and I should have mentioned it yesterday when I had Brian Bouye sitting in with me, the communications director from the National Museum of Racing. He has a book signing coming up, though, on Saturday.
Yeah, and his book is called Bare Knuckles in Saratoga Racing, The Remarkable Life of John Morrissey. John Morrissey, the man without whom there would be no Saratoga. He was one of the people instrumental in getting this place going in 1863. Fascinating guy, was a bare knuckle fighter, opened casinos in New York City, had casinos up here before the racetrack was opened, and he kind of said, well, my gambling customers don't have anything to do during the day. Let's have a horse race. And here we are today. So got to be a great book. Brian's a terrific writer. Before he joined the museum, he worked at the Saratogian. So good book. go check it out, and he'll sign copies for you 9 to noon in the museum lobby.
And again, that's Saturday, so check that out, as you said. And also, you and I were talking before we went on the air, and did want to mention, I highly recommend that. I've been playing since they've been doing it, the past couple of seasons, I guess now. The Low Roller Contest returns this year and kicks off this weekend.
Yeah, I believe they're going to be doing it on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. It's a $40 buy-in. 30 of it is your live bankroll with which you bet. $10 goes to prize money. It's a really nice, low-risk way to kind of hone your handicapping skills, cut your teeth a little bit on the contests. I think they get a pretty wide variety of people who are playing. Registrations in and around the 4-Star Dave Cafe on the ground floor of the grandstand, which is the old carousel. And just, a really fun way to invest without having to go overboard in the day's races.
Yeah, I agree completely, and you stated it very well. It's a low-cost way to get in, and it does, excuse me, kind of give you a good look at contest handicapping, because you have to think a little bit differently. Like, was it last year I was lamenting I had the $90 winner in the last race and still didn't hit the top 10.
Yeah.
But it gets late in the day, and a lot of people are taking shots, and it just, as I say, you have to mentally get into maybe a little bit looking for value, so it's a little bit different, but it's a lot of fun, and there's a chance to win a nice little cash prize at the end of the day. So check that out, the Low Roller Handicapping Contest, which will happen throughout the season.
Yep.
As I say, highly recommend it. All right, Teresa, before we let you go, you, of course, down in New York, frequenting Aqueduct and Belmont much of the year. What stood out to you so far this spring? Certainly there have been some nice days down there. The wrap up to the Triple Crown, where we saw the 3 separate winners. I was pretty happy with the results of the Belmont. But again, the 3 separate winners, which may set up a nice showdown up here in Saratoga. We'll have to see and keep our fingers crossed a little bit, see how Nyquist comes out of the Haskell. But you also had Belmont Derby and Belmont Oaks, a big day down there. What stood out in the spring, and what are you looking forward to moving into the Saratoga meet?
I've got a feature on Jimmy Toner that will be coming out either today or tomorrow at Thoroughbred Racing Commentary. His filly Time in Motion was a really nice second to catch a glimpse. And he has another nice filly, Recepta, who's actually going in the Diana. And he's come in second with these fillies a lot, and I think they're really waiting for them to break through. One of the cool things about both of them is that he trained their mothers and their half sisters, and it's a real family thing. He and the Phillips family. So I'm really excited to see them come back. Obviously, we're a month away from the Travers. We have no idea what's going to happen there. It would be fun to see at least 2 of them come back. Seems unlikely that Nyquist will come. Obviously there's something tremendous about the Triple Crown winner last year in American Pharoah. On the other hand, it's sort of nice. You've got these 3 horses now, contenders in a bunch of different places, watching them where their spot's going to be and who's going to emerge in the second half. Saratoga could, as it often does, play a really big factor in where horses go from here.
Yeah, and, of course, the 3-year-old fillies is shaping up nicely with Songbird. Finally, I think, facing potentially some real competition in Karina Mia. I'm going to be interested to see. I've said for the last couple of weeks, California Chrome, it's going to be interesting to see what he does this weekend out at Del Mar.
Yeah.
Frosted, want to see him come back and see if he can duplicate what happened in the Met Mile, but clearly they're sitting 1-2 in that division.
Yeah.
And I think the Whitney and the Woodward will start to help define, and then a little bit later on the Pacific Classic, help define the rest of that older division. But FNX and Jimmy Jerkin certainly a couple of weeks ago helped his case as well.
Amazing story. I mean, that horse. I mean, he's a New York bred. Jimmy's done such a good job with him. Jimmy also had a horse, Shaman Goes, who won the Brooklyn Derby. But watching Jimmy in the winner's circle of the Suburban, repeating with FNX and talking about his dad and how important the Suburban was to his dad, who had won it so many times, was incredibly powerful. I mean, probably that and Frosted's Met Mile were pretty significant high points, and cool because they're the older, they're the older horses who can kind of get lost in the shuffle. So it was fun to see those 2 races really be kind of premier events.
Yeah, and as I say, this division has been a little in flux once you get past the top 1 or 2. Really, the top 1 until Frosted stepped up in the Met Mile. But again, we have to see what California Chrome does on the comeback. And just before we let you go, I'll also, we've kind of alluded to it as we've had this discussion, but Saratoga is unique. Again, as a writer, you have many different platforms. Go to the Brooklyn Backstretch blog and see what Teresa does during the year, because he links out to wherever she is, but Saratoga, as compared to really any other venue, I don't know whether there are more stories here or it's just a better place where people are focused and it's easier to pick out those stories and find an audience. But at the various media, the local television stations, the local newspapers, and all the work you and other scribes do, a lot of great stories get told during Saratoga, not only on the horse side, the equine side, but the human side as well.
I think there's two things. One is what you said. It's just so concentrated here. I mean, everybody really is all in the same place. And I like to say it's not only accepted but expected that all we do is talk about horse racing while we're up here. But I think a lot of that also is about this community. You know, when we come up here, and people who live here year-round, they look forward to this and they want to hear these stories. Downstate, you're competing with so many other bigger stories. You're out on Long Island, you're not in the city. And I think the passion and the commitment of the local community to these stories is what makes it pretty special.
Yeah,
they want to hear them.
And I always say it's our big leagues. I mean, we don't have an NFL team or a Major League Baseball team, but this is not just national, it's world-class racing for the 6.5, 7 weeks we're up here.
And you saw that last night at the preview at the Racing Museum. I mean, it was a packed house, really well-informed audience asking good questions about horse racing, not just at Saratoga, but across the country.
Nice.
Yeah.
And again, I had Brian Boyer in yesterday, and we talked about that. And I said the Kentucky Derby seminar over there and the Breeders' Cup seminars always gets a good packed house over there with people who have very good questions. So you're right, that is the nature of this community. All right, Teresa, we'll let you go. We have to move on, but again, we'll be plugging you in.